Hi, this is Life Starts at Retirement. I'm Maureen Dobransky, and today I'm ending a series of 4 weeks exploring the fascinating journey of couples in various stages of retirement, and even some at the beginning being very close to retirement. You know, retirement really is such a significant milestone, and there's so many feelings and thoughts that come with each different stage of life that I thought it would be interesting to interview people at those various stages. So for the last 4 weeks, I talked to 3 couples in their 50s, 3 couples in their 60s, last week 3 couples in their 70s, and this week, unfortunately, we're noticing that the couples part is different, as some of them have passed or are going through different health challenges. But this week was focusing on people in their 80s. So I've shared those conversations of the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and today it's the 80s. So first, let me introduce you to Sid and Elaine. They're a couple that have been together forever and ever and ever, over 6 decades. They were very young when they met. He's in his late 80s, and unfortunately he has dementia and is no longer living at home. She's in her early 80s, and she's trying to figure out this thing called life, where she's alone, but she's not yet alone, but she's living alone. So then we have Scott and Karen, a couple in their early 80s, and this is the second marriage for both of them, but they've been married to each other for about 25 years. And their main thing is they're just slowing down and trying to figure out what that next sort of phase looks like. And last, unfortunately, we do have a widow in our group this week, Allison. She was married for over 50 years, and her husband passed away about 3 years ago. She's 85. And still, even though it's been 3 years, of course, she's still struggling to find out where she fits in her new world and in her retirement. So as I did with all of the other videos, I'll start with the common theme of what everyone was concerned about. And in this age group, health. Health came in number 1 by a mile. both physical health in this instance, but mental health as well. Elaine talked extensively about SIG and how she really didn't expect this from their marriage. She had always thought if there would be someone that struggled with health, if there would be someone that outlived the other, if there would be someone that had health issues, she would be the one. And frankly, the more we talked, the more she got angry and frustrated with the direction her life had turned out. She was mad. Why is this happening to me? I don't like it. Understandably so. And now similar thoughts came from Allison. Her husband had been sick for a number of years before he passed. And although she wasn't quite as angry as Elaine, she's angry at the end result. Why did we have to end our great marriage and our great life this way? So she was angry. But both of them, what came through loud and clear, both of them were strong ladies, and despite the anger that they have, they're really working hard to build a new life. They play cards. Both of them love their cards. They try hard to stay in contact with their friends and see their friends, and they're still trying new things to keep busy and to keep active. Now, Allison made an interesting comment that many of her friends that are still couples seem to forget about her because now she's single. She's the odd one out. And they don't invite her along as they used to when she had her husband was alive. So that, to me, really struck me as a good lesson for those of us that know people that are alone now. That's really something to remember, really something to work on, and invite those people because they're alone, and that should be we should care so much and invite them. The next concerning theme was isolation and loneliness. Again, Elaine and Allison were the ones in particular that commented on this because they are alone, but even Scott and Karen had concerns. They talked about slowing down on their activities, on their travel. They had traveled, I think, to 47 different countries, and now they said, no, we're done traveling. And they're even concerned about driving long distance. And over time, they said this causes feelings of isolation. And I noticed, though, a big difference between those stuck in cold climates versus those in warm climates. But they all mentioned it seems to take a bigger effort to stay connected to others, and it seems to be more work than it used to be to find things to do and to stay busy and active. And then last, financial stability once again came up as a concern, but this time, more than outliving their funds-ish. Their concerns seem to be long-term care and what they might need for their future and what they can afford. They were all concerned that they'd wind up in some horrible institution where they didn't want to be. And so Elaine had said she currently pays almost $5,000 a month for Sid to be in a home, and that's scary. If she too needed that type of care, $10,000 a month, and that's a fear. So Scott and Karen are both concerned as well, but not as much. And I think it's because they aren't yet in that situation, and they're doing well financially. So it's still a concern, but not hitting you in the face. But Allison and Elaine had first-hand experience with that cost, and so it really scared them. Now on to some positive themes. Friends and family were at the top of the list. Visiting, cards, golf, walking, doing are so enjoyable to them. And although Elaine and Allison do have their times of anger at their situation, both of them recognize they need to take care of themselves physically and mentally. They need to still put themselves out there, and when they do, it's enjoyable. The next common positive is what I'm going to call perspective. We saw this a bit with those in their 70s, where they don't really care so much what others think anymore. It's kind of a freeing feeling. Oh, I don't care. But this feeling really grew in that age group. They said that with age, they believe comes wisdom and perspective. By your 80s, you've accumulated a wealth of knowledge, experiences, life lessons, insights, etc., that really enrich your understanding of the world and your place in it. And this depth of wisdom kind of empowers them, gives them the strength maybe to navigate the challenges that they have. Now, they all did comment, though, that despite feeling that they have this knowledge and this wealth and these life lessons, that young people are not interested. They don't want to listen. They look upon them as though they are old and therefore useless. But when we talked further, laughingly, they all agreed that they remembered feeling that way when they were young and they saw someone that was older and they went, oh, they're old, they don't know what they're talking about. So they kind of had a laugh about that. And then the last common positive was a reflection of gratitude maybe, and being positive. Elaine particularly said that she was so thankful that they traveled as much as they did, and yet it's still frustrating and maddening that it's ending. They all commented, and this is big, that aging happened quicker than they thought it would. And if they could give one piece of advice, just one, it would be to enjoy your life now. Don't sweat the small stuff, and remember, it's all small stuff. So those are the common concerns and the common positives with those that I talked to in their 80s about their retirement and about their life. And it's very interesting how much it kind of stays the same throughout the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and yet how much it differs. I'm going to leave you again with that common piece of advice from the 80s. It happens quicker than you thought it would, getting old and aging. So enjoy life now. Don't sweat the small stuff, and remember, it's all small stuff. I'm Maureen Dobransky. This is Life Starts at Retirement. I produce a retirement lifestyle video every Saturday at noon, and please consider joining our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Life Starts at Retirement, and I'd be honored if you would subscribe. Thanks.